We are going to take another look at Turtle Beach today, but this time we're going to think about a few different things. We're going to think about sequence. And sequence is the information in the text is presented in order, the order that it happened in time. So we're going to think about sequence. We're going to think about cause and effect. And cause is why something happens, and the effect is actually what happens. So we're going to look for some cause and effect in our story. We are also going to be taking a look at genre knowledge, which means that our author had to have some pretty specialized knowledge about turtle rescue in order to write this story, Turtle Beach. And also we're going to take a look at plot, like beginning, middle, and end. So we're going to look at the events that happen in the beginning, where you identify a problem, and then in the middle, where all the action happens, and then at the end, how they solve that problem. So we're going to be looking at those things today as we read Turtle Beach. A few months ago, I spent the day at the beach with my sister Carmen. She is a volunteer who works to conserve sea turtles. She finds turtle nests and protects them from being disturbed. Turtles have always laid their eggs on the beach, but now there are lots of buildings and people here, she told me. We protect their eggs to help turtles survive. We'll start by looking for turtle tracks. Okay, so let's talk about plot. This is the beginning of the story, right? Looking at the beginning. So at this point in the story, we know that Carmen is a volunteer who works to protect turtles, and the author introduces the problem here with Carmen's words. She said, there are lots of buildings and people on the beach, and so turtle eggs need to be protected in order for the turtles to survive. So that is our problem, that there are so many buildings and things around now that turtles need protection. That's the problem in the beginning of the story. I found the first set of tracks. They led to a pile of sand. Great work, Mia, exclaimed Carmen. You found a turtle nest. We studied the tracks. They went straight up the beach from the ocean. Carmen measured the tracks. I drew a diagram of them and took some photos. This will help us learn more about turtles, said Carmen. Now it's our responsibility to protect the nest. She took a special kit out of her bag. All right, cause and effect time. Cause and effect. As we read, we're going to look for things that happen and the reasons why those things happen. So what do we call what do we call what happened? That's the effect. What do we call the reason it happened? That's the cause. So in the first paragraph, it states 3 effects. Carmen measured the tracks. Mia drew a diagram. And what was the third thing? Oh, yeah. Mia took some photos. So why did she do these things? Because she wanted to learn more about turtles. So she wanted to learn more about turtles. So that's why she did those 3 things. That's the cause and the effect there. The cause, she wanted to learn more about turtles. The effect, she ended up taking photos and drawing diagrams and doing the measuring of the tracks because she wanted to learn about turtles. Carmen opened a large, thin screen. We placed it flat over the nest and covered the screen with sand. That should keep predators from digging up the eggs, she said. Next, we drove sticks into the sand and made a fence with yellow tape. Then we put up signs warning people to avoid the nest. The eggs will be safe now, said Carmen, and when they hatch, there will be lots of new turtles. All right, so this is a good time to talk about sequence. Because as we read, we pay attention to the order of events. So first, Carmen got out a large, thin screen. Next, they put sticks in the sand to make a fence. And then we put up signs warning to avoid the nest. So we've got some words that help us identify sequence, all right? So we have words like next. We drove sticks into the sand. Then we put up signs that warn people to stay away. So those 2 words, next and then, help us figure out what order the things are happening in the story. 2 months later, we sat on the beach at night near the nest. We had waited there for a few hours each night for weeks. Suddenly, the sand on the nest started to sink. A tiny, perfect turtle dug its way out of the sand. Soon, the sand was crawling with hatchlings marching to the ocean. We counted them as they emerged. By the end of the night, 96 hatchlings had made it to the water. I started out at the ocean. Be safe, little. I stared out at the ocean. Be safe, little turtles, I called. I'll see you when you come back to lay your own eggs. All right. So, in order to write this story, our author had to have a lot of knowledge about what happens when not only the things that were happening to protect the turtles, but also about turtle nests in order to be able to write this realistic fiction. Um, so if you look at the illustrations, what kind of seems real to you when you look at it? Like the turtles are definitely like real little, little turtles. The beach looks like a real place. It's nothing that's made up that couldn't be happening. And the people seem like they're real people too. So before I let you go, I do want to talk about one more vocabulary word in this story, and that's the word kit. There it is. She took a special kit out of her bag.
Kit, a collection of tools for a job. She has a kit with needles and thread. She uses it to sew. Kit.
All right, so a kit is a collection of tools for a job. In that example, it was a sewing kit. It was a collection of tools they needed to do the job for, like sewing something, sewing a button back on or something like that. This is a special kit, a group of tools that they needed to help with conserving the turtles, right? That was what was in her kit. All right, I think that this is probably one of my favorite stories that we've read in our book so far on reading and responding.